Titan is a suite of products. It's a family of products, web-based, where all the pertinent data is in the cloud.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris.
And welcome everybody. Dustin Harris hanging out in the podcast chair. Got a special guest I can't wait to introduce you to. But first of all, I want to introduce you to my three sponsors. First of all, we are sponsored by Alamode Software. Alamode, of course, is the software that I have been using for over 20 years. They've been around for over 30 years, helping appraisers be more efficient, more effective at what they do. If you have not checked out Alamode, please go to their website. Go to alamode.com. Again, alamode.com, or you can pick up the phone and call them at 800-ALAMODE. Of course, we are also sponsored by OREP Insurance. OREP is the E&O that I've been using for over a couple of years now. Very, very grateful to have OREP on my side for my E&O. You can check them out by going to orep.org. That's OREP.org. And finally, we are sponsored by DataMaster. DataMaster, of course, is coming out with the brand new DataMaster, but the 1.0, if you will save you 30 to 60 minutes per report. If you've not checked them out and they are in your area, you need to check them out by going to datamasterfreetrial.com/coach. Again, it's datamasterfreetrial.com/coach. Well, folks, this is a long-awaited episode, and I am just grateful for Joel Baker coming on from Alamode. He is going to join us here. Joel is, he's been with Alamode for over 15 years. Can you believe that? He is the vice president of Appraiser Advocacy, which sounds really, really fancy, Joel. And he also, you might recognize him from the tech tips that are sent out on a pretty regular basis. Joel, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Dustin. Good to be here.
Well, it's good to have you here. I know we've had a little bit of a back and forth with our schedules. You're a busy guy, and I guess I am too. And not that I do anything important, but I like to pretend like I'm important. And so it keeps me busy, and I appreciate you being patient with me and coming on here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, Joel and I go back a long way. I took Joel's class on mobile appraising. Boy, it's been probably 4 or 5 years ago in the Salt Lake area, and I know that he did a lot of traveling with that. He's been heavily involved in the product called Titan, and I know that's been long anticipated, long awaited. Joel, there's been a little bit of it. I got to jab you just a little bit. There's been a little bit of a joke out there that says when Alamode says they're going to drop on this date, then you just add a year to that, and then you'll probably get it pretty close. So,
yeah, and I understand that. And actually, it's probably the perception is probably a little worse this time around with Titan. We earned that in a couple of different ways. Some of it's actually intentional. I want to talk about that too here in a little bit. But no, I fully understand. I get that joke.
Okay. Really all right. Cool. Well, I appreciate you being lighthearted about it. As I talk to appraisers, I think most of them understand what the Titan product is, but let's say that there's been a couple that have been living under a rock. Let's start there. Let's just start basics 101. What is Titan?
Okay. Well, Titan it's actually, a lot of folks consider it to be like Total in the cloud. Total is, for those that don't have it, is our desktop-based form filling software where you write the reports and create the PDFs and XMLs and deliver and so forth. And Titan is supposed to be, in a lot of minds, that, but in the cloud, fully web-based, and accessible via Chrome or Firefox or Internet Explorer, whatever. But Titan is actually quite a bit more than that. Titan is a suite of products. It's a family of products, web-based, where all the pertinent data is in the cloud. So we've been talking about Titan Reports, which is what I want to talk about today, which is the form filling piece of it. There's also Titan Analytics, which is a piece that was done before Reports was completed, and we've actually integrated that already directly within Total. So that's the first piece of Titan, and that's live and in the product currently right now.
Okay, let me pause you there for just a second, because
Sure.
I think that's where some of the confusion has come in. As I've talked to appraisers, some of them, as we're going to talk later today about, the purpose of Titan in the cloud, if you will. Some of them have asked me about servers and different things, and I say, just wait. Maybe you got to wait for Titan to come out. And some people are like, Titan's been out for months. I've been using it. The confusion is Titan is the overall umbrella for different products, and it's Titan Analytics that's actually been out, but Titan Reports has not. Is that correct?
That's correct. Okay. Titan Analytics is available inside of Total exclusively at the moment, and that that fills out your MC form and gets you charts and graphs based on an MLS download file. It's a really narrow, focused scope of what the product does. Titan Reports is the form filler. Now, we've actually, to confuse the matter even further, obviously, we've got Titan Reports has now had 6 previews, what we call a preview, which is where we disclose and show and let appraisers play around with what we've written for it so far.
Okay. It's
not, available for purchase, and it's not available to use to deliver reports and create final XML files and so forth. But we have had appraisers using Titan Reports in its various stages for over a year and a half, if you can believe it, going back to summer of last year, basically.
So kind of beta testing then.
It's actually prior to beta testing.
Okay.
We don't even have beta yet for Titan Reports, believe it or not. Titan Reports is not yet ready for beta.
Okay.
So what we've done with Titan Reports is something that we have never really done before on this scale, and it's quite a bit different than what a lot of appraisers are used to. Usually when you have a software of this, scope and magnitude, you end up building it for a year and a half or whatever. And then the marketing starts for it maybe 2 or 3 months before the release and says, hey, this is coming out and it's going to be awesome and you can buy it for X. And then you release it 2 or 3 months later or however. That's sort of the normal way of doing things. What we did this time around was we sort of turned that on its head and we said, hey, we want to build this software, but before we get started doing anything on it, we're going to get our appraisers involved. And so we, put together a team and we started building up, Titan Reports and started with just the core form filling portion of it. And then we released that as a preview, and it had, bare bones basic stuff, just like quick lists and add some forms and, add in photos. And then what we did is we iterated on that. We took the feedback that we got from that first preview. We made changes to the product and then added more stuff to it. And then we cycled through that again and again and again over the last year and a half. And so this product, this Titan Reports that we've got coming out later this year, has already been, even though it's not been beta tested, it has already been in appraisers' hands, and we've gotten hundreds and hundreds of comments from appraisers about, questions about this piece over here, or suggestions to add this over here, or wouldn't it be nice if, dozens of those kinds of things where we're like, yeah, that would be cool. And we just were able to add it in. And so while my long story long here, we've handled this product development completely differently from a marketing standpoint with appraisers and just a visibility. We've invited everybody to take the journey with us every single step of the way. And so rather than having a fully complete functional software available 2 months after we announce it, we've got something different. We've got a product that we've just continually iterated on, and it's gotten better and better each time based on the feedback. The benefit is obviously that the software is going to be better. We get that feedback from appraisers as we build it. But I guess the drawback there is that appraisers have heard about Titan now for a year and a half, whereas probably they wouldn't have been hearing about it nearly as often for the last year and a half.
You got my hopes up, Joel, over and over again. It
seems like it's taking forever. We just involved appraisers publicly for their feedback intentionally. This is what I was talking about, intentionally. So we've intentionally done that. I get it. I know that it seems like it's been forever. Titan is taking forever. But that's the drawback that we decided we were going to live with in order to provide a better, more functional product in the end.
Okay, so let me work with semantics here for just a second and just set the foundation and just make sure that I understand personally, and of course the listeners vicariously. So Titan is the umbrella. So when an appraiser says Titan, that doesn't really say much. I know I've made the mistake over the last year and a half of saying, man, I can't wait for Titan to come out. But Titan is the umbrella. Talk to me again. So we've got Titan Analytics. We've got Titan reports. You mentioned something else. Tell me all of the subsets of Titan.
Well, there is Titan Office, which will be coming out probably first quarter of next year. Don't hold me to that.
Okay.
Titan Office is sort of a management collaboration tool.
Gotcha.
And it will integrate directly between, Total and Titan reports. It's for offices to communicate back and forth and so forth.
Okay.
Obviously, the biggest piece is something that's been in the news recently. Dave Biggers, our founder and the owner of Alamode, wrote a memo talking about Smart Exchange, which is our comps exchange software and system server side here. Again, while it I guess technically could fall under the branding of Titan, we decided to go differently with that because it is also going to obviously integrate directly into Total.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right, and so it's not going to be exclusive to Titan reports. It'll be desktop software as well. Although all of the technology is server side. So we've got, at the moment, those four pieces are the big pieces that we've got on the board for the next several months.
Okay, good enough. So, and today, obviously, we want to focus on the report side. By the way, stay tuned, everyone, because next week I will have Matt on from Alamode as well, and Matt will be specifically talking about Titan Analytics that's already been out. It's already been used. We've already used it in our office, and so we'll have a whole episode with Matt from Alamode next week on that very topic. But today, Joel, I want to focus on the reports side of things. Tell me a little bit more about the structure. The question I guess I would have is why fix a good thing? I mean, if Total works great for me, there's a reason I endorse it here on this program. There's a reason I use it. I've been using it for over 20 years. I love the Total program. Yeah, I like the idea of having a cloud-based thing, but what I don't like the idea of is moving softwares. In other words, moving something that I'm very used to something that looks completely foreign. What should I, as an appraiser who's very familiar with Total, the way it looks now, come to expect when I log into Titan reports?
That is an excellent question. And one of the things that you'll notice when you do log in to look at Titan reports right off the bat is you will notice it looks almost like Total on the desktop. It is just, we've just recreated a lot of the core form filling things from Total, those features in Total that you need and use. The quick lists are in the same place. Your recent responses will work. You sign the reports. You get the single scroll view of all of the forms. You click the contents button, then it pops open a contents window for you to add forms. And so it really does look and act like Total. The pieces that are functional inside of Titan reports right now in the current preview build that everybody has access to. I'll talk more about that in a moment. It really does feel like Total. That was the goal, to have almost a zero learning curve.
Good.
Moving to Titan reports.
What about one of the things that I love about Alamode is the accessibility and the easeability of utilizing the comps grid to be able to do side by side, the smart adjuster, all of that stuff. Is that going to be part of it?
It will eventually be part of Titan reports. We want Titan reports to have everything that Total has, plus a whole lot of other stuff.
Cool.
But what we've done is we've decided, hey, for the initial release of Titan reports, it's not going to have everything.
Okay.
So you mentioned the side-by-side view in particular, and that's not currently in it. It's something we're working on, but when Titan releases later this year, the side-by-side view itself isn't going to be in there. We have the forms and the E&O and the delivery and a bunch of the other stuff that are required in order to create a report, but it doesn't have every little piece.
Okay.
We need appraisers to realize, though, that just because you try out Titan reports and it doesn't have feature X, that doesn't mean that it's never going to have it. It just means that the current version doesn't have it, and watch our updates and read the release notes that we send out about, hey, this is what we've added this quarter or this month or whatever.
And I'm going to reveal my ignorance here on how software works, but I can imagine that on your side, making updates is going to be much easier than it has been in the past, where in the past it's it's something that we download to our computer, and every time, I close out, I get this silly window that pops up and says, you've got some updates, you better update. And then we've got to go through that process. I assume with the cloud base, that all happens in the background. I don't have to deal with that anymore.
And you've hit on something here that I think is really a big deal. The whole point is to not have an appraiser tied down to a particular installation, to a particular machine, or a particular piece of software on a particular machine. With Titan and Titan reports in particular, you can be on vacation in Timbuktu or Zimbabwe or wherever, walk down to the the office center, the business center of the hotel, sit down at their 5-year-old computer, fire up Firefox, and have complete access to your reports. You get a client that needs you to, from a report last week before you went on vacation, you got to change the borrower name. Whereas an appraiser right now, I have found, talking to appraisers, a lot of them, if they don't have somebody back at the office, if it's just like a one-man or one-woman shop, they take their darn laptops with them on vacation.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But imagine being able to leave that there because you just simply don't need it. You can open the report, make a quick change, save and close, and be back to your vacation in about 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I love that.
And there's no installation, nothing to install whatsoever.
And that kind of brings up my next question, and I think you kind of already answered, but I just want to emphasize one of the most exciting things about Titan is this question that comes to me on a pretty regular basis about the server. And now I know that Alamode doesn't quote unquote support the server as far as remote based servers, though we've been able to get it to work. Maybe I shouldn't say that out loud, but it works. But I'll tell you, there's always challenges with that because there's the technical side, and I'll be honest with you, Joel, I'm not a techie. I know enough to get myself in trouble, and so we've been able to set it up with the help of somebody that knows a whole lot more than I do. But does this kind of eliminate the need or that desire that some appraisers have to have a server? In other words, could they have several appraisers that are all part of their office, if you will, but working from different areas, be able to collaborate on the same report structure?
Dustin, you've hit on something. And the answer to that question is absolutely, and it works right now.
Love it.
If you have multiple, users with different logins on the same customer account, everybody sees everybody else's stuff and can work on it basically at the same time. Just everybody's working with everybody else's files. So
okay, hold on. I gotta ask you a question there. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you said something that actually brought up another question. One of the reasons I use Google Suites, and we can edit this out if the answer is no, but one of the things I love about Google is the fact that I can be in the same spreadsheet, I can be in the same Google Doc at the same time as someone else, and I can see them changing stuff while I'm changing stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love it. Okay,
it's fantastic, and we actually use that internally here at Alamode as well. So I'm quite familiar with that functionality. But it turns out that is really hard to do from a programmatic standpoint, and we're not there yet with it. Okay, it is actually, Dustin. That's on the list.
So, so still one person in the report at the same time, but down the road, maybe be able to work on the same report at the same time if you've got somebody doing data entry while someone is making adjustments or what have you. Very
right.
Cool. Very cool.
And the thing here is, I know a lot of appraisers that that work with other appraisers and office managers, and there's a lot of file transfer back and forth. Some folks use the Vault to go over here. Some folks will email. Some use Dropbox. There's a lot of this back and forth, and everybody's got a little process that's specific to them. And Titan Reports and Office, when it comes out, Titan Office is going to negate the need for really any of that, because there will only be one copy of the file. You're not worried about who's got the most recent version of it, or do I have this, or this one's got the comps, and this one's got the signature for the appraiser, and this one's got the signature for the supervisor, or whatever, right? There's only one file, and it's in the cloud.
We're talking with Joel Baker. He is the guru, if you will, the Vice President of Appraiser Advocacy for Alamode. We're talking about the Titan suite of products, specifically about Titan Reports, and we'll get back to him in just a second. I want to just pause here and remind you folks of why. I mean, if you don't get it by today, I'm sorry, folks, I can't help you. There's a reason that I use Alamode, and you see it right here. Here's a company that, on my side, man, it's sure taken a long time to get Titan out, when now I find out why. They don't want to put out a product that's not appraiser friendly. One of the great things about Alamode is that they are in constant communication. They are appraisers. They're in constant communication with appraisers. They're learning about what it is that you as appraisers need, and then developing products around that. That's the type of company that Alamode is. That's why I've been with them for over 20 years. You should check them out, folks. If you're using any other software, please check out Alamode. Go to alamode.com or call them. I'll tell you, folks, there's nothing better than calling 800 Alamode, picking up your side of the phone. They pick up their side of the phone, a real person answering your questions live. They are very knowledgeable. They'll help you to understand why it is that you should switch, and help you to do so with ease. Alamode.com or 800 Alamode. We're, of course, sponsored by Datamaster. Datamaster, of course, is the ability to save 30 to 60 minutes per report, and it does integrate, of course, with Alamode. The ability to be able to pick your comps, to be able to choose your subject through the county information and download that directly into your Alamode report or any other software that you might be using. Check them out by going to datamasterfreetrial.com/coach. They will give you 14 days free, folks. 14 days free, unlimited downloads. You can try it as much as you want. You can use it. You can abuse it. You'll find out why it is you should be long-term. Again, it's datamasterfreetrial.com/coach. And finally, we are sponsored by OREP Insurance today, folks. I've been with OREP for about 2.5 years now. I just signed up my new appraiser, just hired a new appraiser out of California. He moved up to Idaho to work with my firm, and it was a cinch. It was very easy to bring him on to the same E&O that I've been using for 2.5 years, and that is OREP Insurance. There's a reason that I stick with them, and no, it's not because they sponsor the program. They sponsor the program because I use them. It's OREP Insurance. Check them out. Go to orep.org. That's OREP.org for more information.
Third things third, send a prayer to the ones up above. All the hate that you've heard has turned your spirit to a dove. Oh, ooh, your spirit up above. Oh, ooh. I was choking in the crowd, building my rain up in the cloud, falling like ashes.
All right, folks, we are back. We are talking with Joel Baker. Joel is from Alamode. He is the Vice President of Appraiser Advocacy. And we're talking, of course, about Titan reports, Alamode Titan reports. I guess the big question that I have for you, by the way, welcome back, Joel. Thanks for joining me today.
Sure.
Big question I have for you is I can't live without my mobile. So if you're asking me to switch over to Titan and it doesn't have the ability to do mobile out in the field, then sorry, bucko, I'm waiting.
No, I understand. I totally get that. And it does. The current mobile app is the way it's going to be for the foreseeable future anyway.
Okay.
One of the things that we've got working in the background is the sketch. We've got a Titan sketch, which is already in Titan reports, right?
Okay.
That will move over into mobile at some point. Don't have a date for that yet, but we're going to start introducing those bits and pieces to sort of connect the mobile with Titan. So the mobile app that you're currently using right now that you just can't live without,
Yep.
We get it. We're not going to mess with that, folks.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about it.
But my question is it going to interact with Titan reports? In other words, can I still?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I can still be out in the field doing my thing and then upload, and they're still going to get it, even though it's not the software on my computer. It's cloud-based. It's still going to come in and integrate.
Well, what would be the point without that?
I don't know. I'm just saying, hallelujah, man. You
Yes,
scared
of
me there
course.
for a little bit. Okay. All right.
Yes. There are some bits and pieces about collaboration that we'll have to wait for. But
Okay.
yes, it will. Titan reports and Total for Mobile will talk with each other. And also
okay.
Titan reports and Total will talk to each other. So one of the things that we're working on right now is the
interesting.
ability to take things like your existing common responses, quick lists, recent responses, your digital signature, that sort of thing, and port it up to Titan so you don't have to recreate everything from
Okay.
scratch.
So let me give a hypothetical, and all of this is I'm just coming off the cuff. This isn't anything Joel and I planned. So you get what you get, folks. But here's the question that popped into my head. I'm in the jungle in Amazon. They have no internet, but I have my laptop and it's got the old Total on there. When I say the old Total, I mean the computer base. So I don't have any internet. I don't have cloud base. Can I work on a report and then once I get internet, upload it to the cloud and it talk back and forth?
Oh, without a doubt.
Love it.
Of course, that's the goal is to make use of the cloud when it's there. And of course, for those of you appraisers out there who use like Dropbox, for instance, as a common solution for things like file sharing, where what you see in one place matches what you see in another place. If you're on your laptop and you don't have a Wi-Fi connection or something, you don't have internet access, you can still save a file, create a picture or, save a PDF or something into your Dropbox, and then the moment you have an internet connection, boom, it's just there. And that's the ease of use that we're really going for here between Total and Titan.
Love it. Okay, let's talk data for just a little bit, Joel.
Sure.
Appraisers, rightfully so, they're fearful. We talked about Smart Exchange just a little bit, which I think, by the way, is a great solution for the fact that none of us have access to UAD anyway. We upload all these comps and we get these things back saying, hey, by the way, your C2 is different than 15 other appraisers. They don't even give you a number. They said a significant number of appraisers didn't do a C2, yet they don't give us access to their information as to why they made the decision that they made. I hate that. I hate the fact that we don't have access to the data. I think Smart Exchange will be a big part of allowing appraisers to be able to have access to data. So I like that idea. But one of the things that appraisers are always concerned about, so I have to ask the question, this is cloud-based. Data is out there. They're concerned about security. They're concerned about reselling of data. Help assuage those fears a little bit.
Well, those are all valid concerns, obviously. And two things about this. First thing is, I just have one word: vault. Vault has been around now for, I guess, almost 2 decades at this point. And we've stored, hundreds of thousands of files for appraisers over, decades. And we've been really good stewards of that data over the time. And Titan actually uses Vault as its backbone file storage. That's where Vault comes into play with Titan reports. That's where the file storage is. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty behind it, but it's a technology that appraisers are already using. Thousands of them every day are using this technology, the same exact storage technology, the same servers, the whole 9 yards. But I want to actually address something that's a little bit deeper than that, and it's this idea of who has access to the data. And as it turns out, and as we all know at this point, everybody has access to appraisers' data except appraisers. Exactly. Your data's already out there. Yep. It's already out there. Everybody else already has the data. The only people that don't have the data is you, the appraiser. And we think that's just kind of silly. So in addition to being good stewards, you just be aware that Alamode has no intention of using this data to help, drive appraisal business into the ground, right? We would be, as Dave Bigger's message said, it would be stupid of us to do anything like that.
Right. Shooting yourself in the foot is what you're doing.
Right. Yeah. Right. And so we are going to continue our decades-long stewardship of appraiser data using the same technology and the same guidelines and all of that appraisers have been trusting us with for years.
Okay. Before I get to the two $64,000 questions that I've purposely held off till the end, is there anything else about Titan reports that we have not covered, Joel, that you feel would be important features or ideas or thoughts or, worries that you can assuage? Anything about Titan reports that we haven't covered yet?
I think that's pretty much it, other than dates and money, which I think is what you're alluding to.
You anticipated my two questions. You kind of tipped your vest, tipped your cards away from your vest a little bit earlier. I think you actually mentioned something about by the end of the year. I didn't want to jump on it too quickly because I wanted to keep people in anticipation. Let's talk about release date first, and then we'll talk about cost. What do you anticipate being the release date for Titan reports?
Well, I need to be clear about a couple things. First of all,
come on now. Hey, hold on. Don't be doing this. Give me a date. All right. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
December.
Okay.
I can tell you December is what we're looking at. And I work with the development teams and we have meetings, all week long, and it continuously looks like we're going to hit that December deadline. So have it by the end of the year.
Love it.
The very first iteration of Titan reports for everybody, you can't get better than free. As long as you've got, as long as you've got a contract with Alamode for total, say silver, gold, platinum, elite, you're going to have access to the first version of Titan reports. We want to get people, on board with it. All of that being said, anybody who's listening to this right now and hasn't tried it out, if you have an Alamode, license with us, silver, gold, platinum, elite, you can visit titanappraisal.com right now, log in with your Alamode username right now, and play with what we've written up to this point.
Oh,
and
I love it.
Look at where we are. Yeah. So you get not just videos or, hey, we're thinking about doing this, but this is where we are with the product. So you can see what's there and what's not. We've got, several places where you, like the side-by-side power view we talked about earlier, where you click on that now, it says, it's not in this preview.
Coming soon. Okay.
So you should expect that because it's obviously not finished. So just be aware of that. But yes, we're excited. This first iteration of Titan reports is going to be essentially included with whatever membership level that you have as an appraiser.
Okay, cool. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, and I'm not looking for a number here, just so you know. I don't think you probably could answer that question even if I asked it. But I'll tell you one of the things that I get on a pretty regular basis from individuals. Why I get this, I don't know, because if they're asking this question, they're not very, very familiar with Total to begin with, or Alamode to begin with, I should say. And the question is, well, okay, yeah, the first one's going to be free, but then what are you going to do to me, right? You get me hooked, you give me a little crack, and then then I have to come back for more, right? Any idea in general, are we looking at a huge increase over what I'm paying now, for example, for my Elite software? Once the free version, once I'm hooked, where are we looking at?
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that question. It is a valid question, but the reason I can't answer it is because we've had some discussions about it, but we've had numbers sort of all over the board.
Okay, fair enough.
What we really need is we really need buy-in from the appraisers. I like you said, I travel around and I talk to appraisers a lot. And when we started our mobile workshops back in 2013, it was, like pulling eye teeth to get appraisers to use, mobile devices half the time.
Sure.
A lot of appraisers, and I totally understand this, and I'm the same way. I don't really adopt all the brand new technology right off. I'm not what they call as an early adopter, right? And so what we need is we need appraisers using the product so that the product gets better, so that we can add stuff to it. And then we decide how we're going to, charge for it, how we're going to monetize and make money off of it. We got millions of dollars dumped into this, and we're going to make our money back on it somehow and at some point. But right now we need appraisers using it. Let me give you an example of how I imagine a lot of appraisers are going to be using Titan reports the first time. You're going to be, out on an inspection, sketching a house, and you're in the backyard of some, the latest McMansion monstrosity, and you get a call from the client who says, "Hey, I misspelled the borrower's name on the order form." They don't say that. They say you misspelled it, but they're the ones that misspelled it, of course.
Sure.
And hey, I'm going to closing in 2 hours. And if you're a one man or one woman shop, you might have your laptop in the car. It might have that file from last week on it. Maybe it doesn't. But regardless, now you've got to fire up Total and you've got to redeliver the report and everything from a desktop computer, or at best a laptop scenario. Sometimes you got to skip lunch or whatever. But imagine if you took your iPad that you're using, right? Because you're using the mobile tools. You sat down on the swing set in the backyard and you fired up Titan reports and logged in via Chrome or Safari or whatever, made that quick little change and redelivered another copy of it to the client in about a minute and a half.
Yeah, I love it.
Right. And so the first few uses of Titan reports for a lot of folks, we imagine, is not going to be report creation from beginning to end. There are going to be a lot of those too. But for most folks, I imagine it'll be editing existing files, right? The most recent files that I've been working on, sort of thing.
Love it. Joel, I can't wait. This is a great product. There's a reason I've been with Alamode for as long as I've been with Alamode. Never felt tempted to go anywhere else other than curiosity, which, lasted a very short period of time. But I'm very excited about the whole Titan family of products, and specifically about Titan reports coming out. I'm going to hold you to it, my friend. By the end of the year, we're gonna see Titan reports. So if you're tempted to put it off, you can't do it now, because the appraiser coach is going to hold you to the fire. Joel Baker, Vice President of Appraiser Advocacy for Alamode, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Dustin. Take care, everybody.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.
Sorry, editor.